This is Beyond the Veil with Norman Meredith.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is I, Norman, your host with Beyond the Veil with episode 48 of Beyond the Veil. Tonight, we're going to talk about the drone/UFOs being seen over New Jersey that's been going on since November 13th. Now, if you hear some weird background noise, I have to tell you, we have a terrible rainstorm going on here. And it's dancing on the metal roof here really good, so it may sound like static or a hailstorm, and so that's the weird noise you're hearing in my background. So I apologize. We tried everything, buffers, sacrificing a KFC chicken pack. Nothing seems to be working at the moment to get rid of it, so that's what's going on, and that's why you're hearing this weird noise in the background. So Ed's done his whatever he could, and the chicken was good, so, you know, what can I say? All right, folks, let's get started tonight. Now, some of you have been watching the news, and they've been talking about this drone/UFO that's been seen over the Pinckney military arsenal base in New Jersey. Now, I've got a few photos tonight to share, and tonight's going to really be a long show because one of the weather, and I don't want to really be out there trying to drive. There is too many fools out there. All right, let's get this thing rolling. All right, starting around November 13th, people were seeing and hearing. Okay, the hearing part is they're hearing what sounded like a motor or engine of something hovering or moving across the skies. Now, that would make me think this is a terrestrial device. And here we go. We're going to look at this first one here. Now, if you look at it, you can see it's got the traditional running lights, I think. You got the red lights at the bottom, green. I think that's a purplish red to the corner, and then a white light. To me, those are, if I recall correctly, those are traditional running lights that you would find on aircraft. So this is what's, making people think this is a terrestrial drone or something that somebody else is using. Now, the problem is nobody in the U.S. is claiming this. So it's either a foreign government is using this at night to see what's going on in Pinckney, or the military is using it to see some kind of response. And the reason I say the military is doing this is, why haven't they sent up some armed choppers to try to force it down? Good question, huh? I mean, if it's a UFO and it's been constant, why haven't there been any interceptors sent up? Why haven't they sent aircraft up? Or at least, if it's not moving that fast, why haven't they sent up at least a couple Apaches, go up there, or even an unarmed observation chopper, something to go up there and try to find out what this is or get a better look of it. That's what's bothering people. And then they're asking these questions. Why ain't we doing this? So that's why it's making me think that maybe this is something from our own government going on. I mean, maybe we're doing it to gauge a response. But what kind of response are we looking for? But see, the other thing that's bothering me is it's also been seen over Bedmaster Golf Course. That, who owns it? President-elect Trump. Okay? So this object has been being also seen over his golf courses, as well as the Pinckney military arsenal base. Now, why would it be seen over Trump's base? Unless maybe it is actually a UFO. And now get this, follow my theory here, okay? Their running lights, they mimic like our lights that we use on our commercial craft. And the reason they mimic it is so we don't have a collision. Now, Ed and I were talking about this particular photo before the show. He thinks it's an afterburner. Oh, not this one? Okay, I'm sorry. It's this picture here. Ed and I were talking about it, and he thinks this is an afterburner effect of an F-18. But I got to looking at something. If you look carefully to the far left, you'll see a light, a very dim light to the very far left, and then to the right, there's another light. It's like it's part of a larger craft. Because you see, there's a light to the right. Okay, got the white light there. And then if you were to go to the far left, you'll see that there's another light similar to the right. And then this middle light with the red, the green, the white and the red in the center is off-centered. So could this be some form of dirigible that the government's testing? And this is the equivalent of a gondola that's underneath it, or some kind of hanging platform that's part of a dirigible or a blimp. And the only time they test it is at night because you don't want it to be seen. I don't know what the air traffic patterns are up that way. And, a lot of people aren't saying, but, they're hearing the noise of this vehicle moving. Now, if you've ever been outside and seen a blimp overhead, you can hear it. It makes an interesting noise, like a humming sound sometimes, or a drone. Now, I haven't heard any recordings or seen anybody talking about the type of noise. It's just that it's a motor-like noise. But two, we got to look at the possibility that, remember now, aliens are smart. If this is an alien craft, they will mimic craft here on Earth, in order to slide by and get by things, So they're, if you want to sneak around, you mimic the things that are around you, so that way you don't get caught. Because if it was let's say hypothetically it's a Chinese event, why haven't the because the FBI is involved in this now, okay? Why haven't they sent up a chopper from the FBI up there at night with spotlights? Why haven't they requested military aircraft to go up there at night yet? Have they looked into strange things that might be related to Chinese-related businesses or nationals in the area? Now, I'm not trying to sound racist or trying to be poking a finger in a direction that might be considered biased, but some people are saying that this is from one of our adversaries. That would be one of the most likely source I would think of. Chinese like to play with balloons. Maybe they're using one up in here, and it's a combination balloon there. It's a blimp. Maybe they're using a blimp, and they got a place to store it. Who knows? Because I don't think it'd be Russia. Russia and Trump are tight, and Trump's coming back in. Putin ain't gonna, in my opinion, ain't gonna do anything to piss Trump off. He's going to do everything he can to be on the side of Trump. He ain't going to piss him off. The only person I can think of trying to piss Trump off would be the Chinese right now, because they're going to try to get everything they can while Biden's still in office. But it's just amazing what people are reporting. I seen one photo, it was video, of 3 lights, and 2 of the lights were running in tandem. Now, the only time I've seen lights blinking in tandem is on an aircraft coming into land. Now, UFO lights that I've seen in the past generally run 1, 2, 3 type pattern. First one light, then the second light, and the third light, and goes on down. They blink on and off. Never in tandem, to my knowledge. The ones I've seen have never blinked together in tandem. Now, these 2 were next to each other at the front of the craft, while the other third light was in the rear, making you think that this object was triangular shaped. And we've talked about triangular shaped aircraft before, and that the United States has a TR-3B aircraft. Now, this is the one I'm talking about. Now, the front 2 lights were blinking in a video I seen. The rear one was a solid continual light. There was no colors, which would make me think that this was a triangular craft. But it could be just the landing lights underneath a circular craft or a large drone. Because, back in the day, there was a company called Aerocar that the Canadians were building a flying car. And it had 2 to 3 proportional motors underneath it. And then the project went belly up, or, but it was probably starting to work, and somebody took the money and moved it into a black budget, and we don't hear about it no more. But, there's been craft that were being designed by the military, believe it or not, where vector thrust engines were used to propel man-made platforms with a single soldier on it. It could stand on this platform, and it would lift them up and fly them around. Now, I wish I thought about it earlier to put one of those on, but who says we don't have that? And that this is one of ours, and the Pinckney Arsenal's using them at night. It's just timing in the place is the wrong place to be testing it. This should be out there in Nevada or in Utah, somewhere where people can't see, unless they want people to see what the reaction is and see what they see, so that they can fix any flaws in the device that they're working on. What do you think about that, Ed? Do you think that they're showing the public what it is so they can try to find the flaws? You don't think so? Okay. Ed doesn't think that's what it is. But you think it might be a foreign adversary? You don't know. He's putting his hands up. He's like, I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. It's just, I'm bamboozled. But why keep, if it's a foreign adversary, why keep it up? Because sooner or later, somebody's going to get pissed and take a gunship up there, an Apache with some stingers, and they're just going to go pop, or somebody on the ground is going to get pissed. And I'm sure there's somebody out there. They've got a 50 caliber Barrett sniper rifle. They're going to take aim, and they're going to start popping off with their 50 cal Barrett sniper rifle. And they're going to put some rounds in it to see what happens, because they've had enough. Because they think nobody's doing nothing, and it's like, enough's enough, and I'm going to do something. Please, I'm not advocating you take a Barrett out if you own one and putting bullets in this thing. I tell you now, please don't do that. No. I know the government's doing their thing. They've got their own reasons, how and why and when they do stuff. Please don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't even shoot bottle rockets at it. But keep reporting it. Keep taking notes. And if you can find like-minded people, try to put yourselves in groups at different parts of the community and pinpoint from locations to triangulate things so you can come up with a height, distance, speed. Talk to some professional researchers that might be able to give you some advice about doing triangulation. I mean, in this one, there's multiple objects of it. It's like they're trying to stir up a really big mess up there in New Jersey by trying to swamp the area with these drones. Because drones have been a big thing in the news, out in the Pacific especially. They think that, unfortunately, the Chinese have using drones against our naval ships to determine their strengths and weaknesses, especially in electronic warfare. What their electronic strengths are with detection and counter-detection and the different forms of electronic warfare we have. That's why we supposedly see them. But also, remember, there was a Tic Tac about 2015, where the F-18s chased this thing and chased multiples of these Tic Tacs and watched they go into the water. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, folks, what this can be. I mean, some people say it's man-made. Because if it was man-made, I think you've had enough time up there playing. You're pushing your luck. If it's not man-made, then maybe they're trying to send a sign. And like I've mentioned before, there is a supposed rumor that Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu met with aliens during Trump's last time in office and talked about something related with Earth. Now, is it possible that they've come back now that Trump's coming back into office and Benjamin is still in the office, and they need to resume talks about going forward with things. Could this be what that is? Because remember, like I told you, this is around his golf course. And, Trump works out sometimes out of his golf course. Now, right now, I think he's down in Mar-a-Lago. But it wouldn't take him long to come up there and in the dead of the night, up to his Trump golf course, walk out to the 7th hole and meet the aliens again. Have a talk with them and see what they want to say. Anything's possible. But, we don't know until it happens. And somebody can verify photos, video, audio, multiple witnesses, and the aliens themselves telling us what's going on. If that's the case. Because I'm not saying it is, but I'm also not saying it ain't. I'm throwing out the possibilities of either or. And the one thing I'm not going to tell you to do is please, no violence against this thing. Because we don't know what it is. It could be U.S. military. It could be U.S. intelligence device. Because of the type of responses we're not getting. It could be a foreign adversary's device. And our government is taking a certain type of role in monitors and having a certain setup ready to take it down. They do have counter drone weapons that they might be trying to move into the area that they don't have yet. There's all sorts of possibilities. There's all sorts of things I can sit here and try to describe. But I don't know. I'm not allowed to read minds anymore. The guys in black told me I can't do that anymore. So, I can't say. I'm not allowed to say. I'm not allowed to even think about saying. But just going forward, think about it. What are we looking at here? Is it our own government? Is it an adversary? Excuse me. Is it private business? Because you want to know something? Did you know that if a private corporation has a UFO, they don't have to tell the government? No. They can keep that under corporate secrets. They don't have to tell you not. Because if they let the government in on it, they can let them into a part of it, but not all of it. And if government says, are we in possession of UFO? Government can say, truly? No, we're not. Because technically we're not. A private organization is. But hey, that's what it is, This is food for thought. And if you've got some thoughts on this, whether it's a UFO or drone, throw your thoughts out there on tonight's episode. Leave your thoughts. And I apologize if I'm not responding quick enough on my messenger. I've been tied up between work and a project I've been doing and some other stuff as well. So excuse me if I don't respond quickly to any messages on Messenger to use. I will do my best to get to them. So excuse me if I'm a little late. So we're going to leave it here tonight is what is those objects in the sky? And I'm just going to leave it as that. What is these objects? And so when you go to bed tonight, take a look up to the skies if they're clear. Do you notice anything different? And if you do, break out your camera. Take audio notes. Take written notes. Sketch it. Write the date, the time, the weather patterns, what the temperature is. Because believe it or not, all these things add up for data. And data is important to help prove what you may or may not be seeing. Okay? And also where you're at. Do you live near a military base with aircraft? It's constantly flying. Do you live near a airport that has experimental aircraft? Do you live near an aircraft manufacturer? There's all sorts of different factors you got to look into. So I want you all to think about that. And just to be safe. And I'm also going to wish y'all a happy new Christmas ahead of time. Merry Christmas. Because we're going to play next week by ear. The week of Christmas, we're going to take off. But next week, I'm playing it by ear because I'm taking the week off from work. And depending how things look, we should have a show next week. On what? I'm not sure. But we'll see what we get. Okay? So we're going to sign off here from Pickens, South Carolina. Ed and I, we want to thank y'all for sitting here with me, listening to me ramble and rant about what is it over the New Jersey skies. All right, folks. This is Norman signing off from Pickens, South Carolina with another episode of Beyond the Veil.